Good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is just going to be a very quick stream. It's basically going to be as if it was a video update as normal. So I'm just going to quickly go over the market as I am seeing it today, what my plan is for the day so far. I'm still in the process of developing that, but we do, of course, have French Bulls stream coming up at 11 a.m. for the crew. So yeah, 25 minutes, half an hour max on this stream just to go over some of the things that I am looking at the moment. So welcome to those of you who are in the chat so far. It's probably a little bit of a quiet one. Like I say, these morning streams are generally just a bit more of an update. So overall for Bitcoin, okay, it's I still feel like we have a chance of coming up to this 21k level. However, we're reaching that point where the bearish divergence that is forming, and it's quite significant, is starting to very much play on my mind, and I am hedged in a short position. I do believe that there's a fairly strong possibility that we could be heading lower. On the plus side, on the positive side of things, we have broken above and we have held them back as we've back tested the point of control of this range. However, it's starting to feel now with just the lack of momentum here that we are starting to put in a little bit of a distribution above that point of control, and we could be seeing a retrace. Overall on this, from a 4-hour perspective, you can see even on the RSI how we are building basically these hidden bearish divergences with higher highs on the RSI. It's the same with the CVD, okay, in comparison to the highs that we put in back in June. The CVD divergences even are on more local highs as well that we are putting in, so we do have those bearish divergences to be aware of. It's there on the daily level as well. We can see more momentum on the RSI, but price not being able to break. So overall with that, again on the hour chart here, we can see bearish divergences forming with a high, higher high again from a closing basis, but a loss of momentum here. So I do feel that unless we start to get some volume coming in relatively quickly, we do stand a pretty high probability of coming back down to the value area low of this range at the very least. And then potentially testing down back towards the bottom. So I am aware of that scenario. I do still have targets higher up, but that as an overall view on the market is kind of what I am looking for right now. I have taken a short position this morning. Okay, so if we do go onto here, just the back test of the daily open, pretty standard short position to be taking here. We did have a open here which was quite strong, so we were getting that like increased speed, that increased momentum, not really parabolic, but we for the move that it was, being a very slow move, we had a decent open here. Now obviously that has been broken, we've retraced, we've changed market structure, we've taken out a couple of low time frame lows off of this, and for me, daily open with invalidation above the high that we put in last night is a relatively straightforward trade. If we can claim that, then I am still looking up towards the 21k MPOC. Okay, so from there, if we go over onto this quickly, we do of course have this naked point of control here at 21k exactly. But yeah, I think realistically, then we may have run out of time on this. It's similar situation with the SPX. So be aware. I'm still in that long position from lower. I'm still seeing if we can get to 21k, if we can get a bit of volume coming in. But if we're going to do it, it's going to have to be very, very soon. Otherwise, this will likely roll over with the amount of divergences that we have here. What else do we have to look at? We do, of course, have a potential 80% setup in play. Okay, so by that I mean, so if anyone who's not aware, by this I do mean we had an open today that was outside of the previous day value area. Previous day value area roughly being between 2,360 down towards 19,990. We did have an open, of course, above that. If we do get acceptance back inside here, it's kind of, we briefly dipped below, then got a fairly decent bounce off of that. But if we do start to find acceptance, then we do have a strong possibility of coming back down into the value area low, which I think would lead us back down to these lower targets we have around that 19,500 region. From the session template, if we go over and have a look on the sessions here, our closed session did come in and tap the naked point of control from the previous closed session. Now that's something I like. So I like to trade session to session, these closed session points of control being quite nice. That's where it started to lose its momentum here, and we did roll over. Looking at New York again today, because we do have some more stuff coming out. There's more CPI data coming out today. I would be looking back down towards, at the very least, the USA MPOC that we have down here at 20,160. Again, looking at levels to the downside. So that is, yeah, everything at the moment, unless we start seeing some volume coming into the markets. And I think New York is probably what's going to give us that volume, depending on what the catalyst is. I don't see enough volume and I don't see enough strength here to really be pushing higher, which is why I am hedged into that short position. Again, here you can see the naked point of control. Okay, so if we do break higher, that is the major level above us. However, there's still a pretty high probability that we can be coming back down. So yeah, CPI is next week. There is another announcement today. I'll go over and just let's just check. What is it we've got today? What is it we've got today? This is a good reason why I do this with the chat open. I'll get to that in just a minute, what we have in the market today. But for Bitcoin, that is the main update for myself. Short off of the daily open, I am looking for lower if we do not get volume coming into this market. However, 21k is still a possibility for that long position, which again, still holding. So holding a long from down here, a short from here, hedged at the moment, fairly neutral, and we'll see if this cannot break through. The chances are I will close out of this long position and just allow the short to come back down, in which case we do have these targets down here between that 19,600 to 19,420 region. We do have a bunch of confluence within that area. It would also be coming into the point of control of this mini range. We do have a session MPOC down there as well, and it would almost just maintain this bit of an uptrend with this here being the really significant low that we have on our chart at the moment. If we can find the price comes down into this region, gets a bounce there, I think all is still relatively decent. Okay. As for legacy markets, what do we have on here? Ethereum, I don't have too much to update. We're edging ever closer. So this basically blue box is what I'm looking for on Ethereum. So basically anything above $1,200. I mean, that's close enough. You've got that as a nice even. If we can get up to 1,220, I would be looking for short positions there on Ethereum. You can see with the BTC pair potentially has flipped this weekly level into support. If this can get one more push higher, then again I would be looking for short positions on Ethereum. DOT is another one that I am interested, so I am in a long position on DOT. I'm basically just aiming up towards these highs at this stage, so around about $7.26, and that's the crypto market. That's the crypto market. Everything from the charts anyway. In terms of the S&P, it's a very similar situation. I do think that we could creep a little bit higher throughout the day on the SP 500, but if we are to come into, you come into this region up here, that again, you're going to need significant volumes to break through that. So you do have basically imbalances here between 3,908 all the way down to 3,874, which would just be an SFP of this. So we're getting into that zone here on the SPX where we are meeting that resistance. Of course, we are also at the golden pocket, which is the same as where we are on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin as well, golden pocket region, meeting resistance, we're going to need volume to break it. I've only been doing this for 10 minutes, so it's not too bad for time. I'll quickly wrap through the rest of the things I have to say, and then I'll just go to the chat, see what people are saying. Again, if there's anyone new to this channel, please do check out toroscrypto.com. So on toroscrypto.com, you can find out more about our community in general. We do have a free Discord community. We also have the Toros crew, so you can click on here, discover more about the Toros crew. Within this, will it work? There we go. So we do our basically daily trading rooms. We're going to be doing the Asia Open today. We've got thousands of hours worth now of educational content on there. There is also opportunities if anyone would like to learn more about kind of the trading that we do within here. We do also offer one-to-ones, so you can go onto the website and you can offer one-to-ones, or we do offer one-to-ones, so you can book that directly through the website. So if you are new, if you're interested in a one-to-one session or interested in the crew, then please do check that out. Please also go and check us out on Twitter. That is Toros Crypto on Twitter, and you can see all of our random ramblings. Other stuff with the markets, fear and greed index 18, still fairly low. Funding rates are pretty much neutral at this point. You can see they are negative, but look, 0.00009 is neutral. Okay, neutral being 0.01, but I mean, you're coming out of that negative funding and coming into neutral territory on here. We have seen open interest increasing quite a lot. So with the CVD divergence that we've got going on, we are also seeing a big increase in open interest. You can see open interest here up 4.6% over the past 24 hours. So yesterday this was at 8.8 billion open interest. We're now at 9.4, and we're not really doing anything with it. So much of that open interest is long positions, which is leading me to feel a little bit more bearish. There's not that many shorts to squeeze, but there certainly are long positions that are potentially getting in at the wrong stage of the market. With the US economic calendar, it's important to be looking at these things at the moment. Yes, you're right. There is the jobless claims today, and we do have some speeches going on later on, but again, nothing too significant. It is next week, on next Wednesday the 13th, that we do have CPI here, so that is something to be very aware of when that does happen. We're likely to get some pretty major moves in the market next week. We've got three-year inflation expectations. We've got CPI. We've got all the usual stuff as well coming in next week, so that is likely to bring us some volatility. However, on the plus side, it does appear that the market is starting to react a little bit less to these news events than it was a few weeks ago, when literally all anyone was looking at was what were the Fed talking about, inflation, all of this kind of thing. So yeah, that's my basic wrap up for today. Anything moving on the altcoins? Nothing that's really of interest. There are a few things on here yesterday that were starting to flag a little bit, and we could be looking for another move up, but yeah, nothing on here that's really catching my attention. In fact, some of the ones I was actually saying, because I remember Bake was one of the ones that was down on the day yesterday, DYDX as well. So we're having these situations where you've had a move up, you've started to flag, and we're starting to push back up above here. That's something to be looking at with the altcoins, especially while things are fairly stable. But yeah, overall, not too much going on with alts at the moment. The only other trade I'm in on alts that I haven't actually mentioned yet, this didn't actually get stopped out, but I'm in this trade just basically looking up towards $1.60 on this. This is Cadena, so I did buy here. It went underwater briefly, but we've got a nice rounding off down at the bottom here. This would be a first take profit, and then I'm looking up towards this 4-hour order block here at $1.88. If we can get continuation. Let's have a look at the chat, because that's my very quick, brief update for everyone. we're back at daily open again. We're going to need volume to break through, I think, at the moment, and we don't really have that. So hedged is reasonable right now, and we do have opportunities here for potential shorts. This also looks like it came into the 382, so it's that standard kind of thing, right? A little bit beyond that. So yeah, we had the back test of the range point of control and the 382. If we can hold here and we can get back above the daily open, then yeah, 21k and up towards the value area high out there at 20,500 is pretty reasonable. Cool. All right. That is that. What do we have in the chat? Again, welcome anyone who's here. Yeah, tilted. Not much strength, but futures market is slowly going down, and BTC is fine. Yeah, I mean, futures are pretty stable right now. The S&P futures, but yeah, it's going to be correlated again today. Ethereum also creating CVD. Oh, CVD bullish divergence. Okay, local bullish divergence. Matthew thinks there's going to be a mega pump on RSR. Or there was a mega pump on RSR. I know you asked about RSR yesterday, so I'll have a very quick look at that. Just because I didn't have a look at it yesterday. Where are we? That's not a mega pump. That's not a mega pump. We didn't have a mega pump on RSR. No. No. For time reasons, I can only enter scalps on London open and close. Any tips? There's been a bit of a trend recently of around about like between 8 and 8:30 a.m. in the morning UK time. We seem to be putting in a pivot, whether that's a pivot high or a pivot low. That kind of time, again, it's that initial balance that we're putting in on the New York Open. They do often seem to be a pivot, so that transition from Asia session into London is often a reversal, which then gets reversed again just before New York opens. So yeah, that's kind of meh. It's something we've just noticed recently within the crew as well. So that's about all I can say. I do have some, I think I've got some statistics somewhere for things on the New York session, but I don't tend to trade it too much. I will plan during the London Open. You can see here the pivot just before London Open, and then likely to pivot again just before New York Open. Yep. What else? I don't quite know what else to say. We do have, again, quite decent things for the market, I guess. DXY is starting to pull back. Finally, we did hit into some really nice confluence on this yesterday. So again, we had our fib extensions, our fib expansions on here. We came into this region. We are expecting a bit of a pullback. We, of course, have had oil pulling back quite significantly. It has taken out some local lows. Of course, we're not down to the bottom of the range yet on oil, but, and this is Brent crude oil, so we're not yet down to the bottom of the range, but this looks like we've just had a little deviation off of value area low. Yes, we have. So we have had this little deviation off of value area low. If we can bounce into the POC, again, you'd be looking for this to take another move downwards here, but we do have big imbalances that could get revisited on oil. So we have been moving out of this week so far, and I guess last week as well, moving out of that like risk off environment, and things have had a bit of a bounce, a little bit of relief, but it seems like with things like oil, DXY, things pulling back, we maybe see a bounce from them, which could bring crypto markets and those tech stocks and SP 500 etc. back down again. So we do need to be aware. Overall, not a huge amount going on in the market, not too much to update on, but yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to wrap it up here because I know French Ball is doing his stream in 10 minutes. So thank you very much for watching. This has been a nice short one, especially if you are watching this back. But do hit that like button. If you are new here, please do subscribe. I will be around throughout the day as